since we did top 10 best mothers and fathers of anime, we've gotten a lot of requests to highlight the polar opposites. The parents that are undeniably bad. The parents that are so undeniably bad, it's hard to understand why they decided to reproduce in the first place. For this list, we've chosen bad parents who do horribly despicable things to their own children. Whether they choose to use their children for their own selfish needs, or just flat out neglect their children, we believe, with your help, we have selected the worst of the worst. So here we go. Top 10 Worst Parents in Anime. Number 10. Genma Saotome from Ranma Half. This was a tricky choice since Genma does show his love for his son from time to time, and on occasion is proud to have him. But when you think about his selfish deeds and how low he can sink himself just to get what he wants, Genma is a pretty bad dad. He'll prioritize his own needs and food above Ranma, feels great when putting his son down so he can feel better about himself, and will even arrange his son to marry someone he doesn't know just for his own benefit. He wanted to fulfill a promise he made to Soan while also continuing his legacy, anything goes martial arts. But he also made an agreement for Ranma to marry another girl only to have her dowry stolen for himself. Overall, Genma is one selfish jerk and is one terrible father. Number 9. Hiromi Shioda from Assassination Classroom. Once again, I had trouble choosing this one since I had to choose between either the principal or this psycho woman. The more I looked into her character and her psychosis, yeah, we made the right choice. Hiromi is a very controlling person, where everything just has to go her way or else. While pregnant with Nagisa, she would talk about how she was hoping for a girl just so she can live out her hopes and dreams through her child. To her dismay, she ended up having a son, but that wasn't going to stop her from having fun. She forces Nagisa to grow out his hair so she can brush his hair as if he was a girl, controls everything he does, and will even force him to wear dresses. You would think anyone who's put through these stressful situations would retaliate, right? Well, if Nagisa ever denies or disobeys his mother, well, just watch. Well, that happened. I would have put her higher since she is an overbearing mother who treats her son like a Barbie doll rather than a child, but ever since he saved her life from an attempt to kill Koro-sensei, their relationship is a bit better. Still, it hurts to think of what could have been if that fateful day never came. Number 8. Ren Soma from Fruits Basket. So, aside from a few parents in the show, it seems every parent in the show was terrible to their kids. I mean, it's not easy accepting the fact that your child is cursed and can transform into zodiac animals, but I'd at least give a gold star to my kid if that happened. I don't know, that's just me, because I think transforming kids would be cool. Although you don't see Ren in the anime, you do see the result of her actions through her daughter Akito. So pretty much this horrible wretch of a human being who makes the Soma family suffer is the result of extreme child abuse. How horrible of a person do you have to have your actions turn your child into...
You did this! This is your fault! If Hattori loses his sight, it's your fault! It's your fault!
Akito! Hattori!
Do you think you can lift the Soma curse? Do you?
That? Well, Ren wasn't a mentally stable person to begin with. But how can you be jealous of your own child because your husband spends time with her? I'm sorry, but Ren and her husband made love, and their love created a child. He loves the child she gave him. And she is so disturbed, she grows jealous and wants her husband all to herself. So she tortures and manipulates Akito whenever she can. She forced Akito to look and behave like a man throughout her childhood, mocks her by telling her she'll be all alone with no one to love her forever, and will even threaten her child with a knife to get what she wants. She tortured her child non-stop, and it was all because she was obsessed over her love for her husband. Number 7. Charles and Marianne v. Britannia from Code Geass. I am going to try my hardest to explain this, but even I don't know how to explain the bullshit that went down. Lelouch grew up believing that his father was responsible for killing his mother and paralyzing his sister, so he vowed to somehow take vengeance and bring down all of Britannia. Once Lelouch was able to possess Geass, the rest was history. In Season 2, just when Lelouch thought he had control of the situation, Charles arrives in Area 11 and confronts Lelouch along with Marianne, who's still alive. Strap yourselves in, ladies and gentlemen, for another episode of The Bullshit Zone. Turns out Marianne possessed the Geass to transfer her soul into another person's body, so she hid away in Anya Allstream's body until hers and Charles's plan could finally come to fruition. The plan was known as Ragnarok, to which by using the Sword of Aksha, the Thought Elevator, and 2 codes, Charles can force the collective subconscious of human beings onto the surface of their mask and affect reality, making all humans, both living and dead, into one being. Basically, Charles and Marianne wanted to create a perfect world where dead loved ones could return and everyone would live happily ever after, or so Charles and Marianne thought. Lelouch finally knows the truth now. He knows now that his parents put him in the situation to protect them and to build a better world for them. With everything said and done, will Lelouch forgive them? Oh hell no! Not only did Lelouch object to the idea of such a stagnant world, but he calls them out on their bullshit. Their idea was selfish. They abandoned their children in a war zone. The idea of a perfect world seemed only to be a world fitting for them. Using his Geass, Lelouch made the gods of the world return to reality, thus putting an end to both Charles and Marianne. They always said the pathway to hell is paved with good intentions, and this couple clearly proved that to be true. Number 6. Medusa Gorgon from Soul Eater. A witch who loves to experiment on everything and anyone, especially her own child. Medusa swears to awaken the Kishi to awaken the world from its stagnant peace, so she gives birth to only turn her child Krona into a demon weapon. In order to do so, Medusa would submit Krona through abusive means of torture and would even lock up her child in a dark room for many days as punishment. It's hard to even say whether or not Medusa loved her child, but I would say it's more of a conditional relationship. Medusa could only love Krona if they became the perfect weapon she wanted them to be. If not, Medusa would toss them aside and wouldn't even care if they were dead. Pronouns! Because we really don't know Krona's gender. I wonder if even Medusa remembers. Or even cares. Because in the end, Medusa is one heartless mother. Number 5. Somehow, I keep having to talk about this unworthy father. Here we go again. Shao Tucker from Full Metal Alchemist. There was no doubt that he would make this list since his actions are without a doubt deplorable. Tucker was well known as the alchemist who could create chimeras, creatures who could talk. This miraculous feat happened shortly after his wife and house pet disappeared. Gee, I wonder why. A few years roll by, and he's being pressured to make another one, or else he'll lose his financial support and title. After much thought and weighing out his options, he was finally able to make a new one. Oh, just wait till he tells his precious daughter Nina. I'm sure she'll be thrilled. But where is she?
That person, Edward. That person, Edward.
Brother Ed.
Now, how did I react the first time I covered this? Oh, you son of a bitch! And allow me to repeat myself, you sick son of a bitch! Shou Tucker fused his child with his dog in order to keep his credibility. This sick, twisted, and selfish monster chose to make his own wife and child suffer just to further his career and financial aid. Some would argue that he should be higher on the list, but here's the sad fact. If he was perfectly fine using his wife to form the first Chimera, it would have been only a matter of time until he used Nina. Number 4. Ragyo Kiryuin from Kill la Kill. The very minute this woman discovered life fibers, she began her selfish quest for world domination. She wanted to create the perfect life using life fibers, even if it meant using her newborn babies as test subjects. When the life fibers failed to fuse with Satsuki, she decided to try again with her newborn, Ryuko. But when that failed, she decides to just dump her baby aside and left her for dead. Instead of dumping Satsuki, she decides to use her as a tool and prides herself in Satsuki's success. Still, that doesn't stop her from molesting her from time to time. Well, I knew she wasn't Mother the Immaterial, but sexually assaulting your own child? What the hell? Ragyo Kiryuin, a cold-hearted diva who used anything and anyone to rule the world, even her own children. Number 3. Cordelia from Diabolic Lovers. Selfish to the core, Cordelia only wanted the best things in life for a vampire. She had 2 strong vampire men fight for her hand and birthed 3 children only to get her husband's attention. Even though her children were not her husband's first set of sons, she pushed Ayato into studying every day to prove he could be the next head of the family. With her other 2, it seemed they could do whatever they wanted. She praises Kanato for his singing voice and always relies on Laito for his comfort. And sex. Yeah. It is confirmed that Cordelia had sex with her own son, Laito. He had always wanted his mother's love in any way possible, but he never imagined she would use him for sex. He was eventually locked up for a while as punishment for mating with her, so how does this loving mother respond to his imprisonment? Have sex with his uncle right in front of him. And this wasn't the first time she had sex with her brother-in-law, Richter. She would at times have sex with him, with Kanato still in the room. And made him watch. You know, I'm suddenly regretting never coming up with this list. I never liked Diabolic Lovers. Hell, I made a drinking game out of it.
Rule number 1. Take a drink or shot every time that girl says, "No, please stop, let go." Her screaming for God to help counts. Yep. Oh Lord.
After finishing the series and during further research, I am appalled and disgusted that such a character could ever be created.
And bitter. Oh God, that hurts. I've been bitten.
Number 2. Get in the Eva Oh, wait. That's too soon. But I couldn't help myself. Gendo Ikari from Neon Genesis Evangelion. There is no doubt that this man loved his wife, screw the world and everyone in it, but Gendo was madly in love with his wife Yui. This can never be said the same for his son Shinji. It's hard to even tell if he even gave a damn about his kid when he was even born, but once Yui was killed in an accident, Gendo doesn't think twice about abandoning his son. He continues his research and goals to use the Eva units to defeat the Angels, but also tries to bring his dead wife back in the process. 11 years roll by, and not once did Gendo make any attempts to reach out to his son. That is until Unit Zero's pilot was badly injured, so they needed to find another pilot just in time to fight off the next invasion. And I'm pretty sure Gendo was just sitting there like, Oh yeah, I have a kid, don't I? Well, let's see if I can put that little bastard to use, I guess. Gendo summons Shinji to the facility and tells him just right off the bat... Oh, now? Okay. Get in the Eva, Shinji! 11 years with no word or love, and he just wants Shinji to do as he's told by jumping into a giant robot and fight giant monsters. Love you too, Dad! His wife Yue wanted to fight for a better world for their son to thrive in, but Gendo's selfish desire violated her dream by sacrificing Shinji in an attempt to be with her. This really isn't a surprise to anime fans, as Gendo is known as the most infamous father in all of anime, but in the end, it's just sad to see a father treat his own child like this. Before we move forward, here are some honorable mentions. Number one worst sets of parents in anime are... This was hard to choose since there were a lot of very bad parents. In the end, I felt the need to highlight this one couple in particular. This may be from a very well-known comedy, and they were only in one episode, but this couple's actions really make my blood boil. Shun Ayasaki and his wife from Hayate the Combat Butler. Now you're probably asking me, what could be worse than torture, abandonment, neglect, and rape? Well, Hayate was born in poor living circumstances. In order to survive and help pay for the bills, he works many different jobs and even has to lie about his age in order to get higher paying jobs. Well, he sounds like a loving son since he works hard to help his hard-working parents. Hard-working parents. No, that's not the case. Shun and his wife refuse to work. They'd rather spend their days splurging and gambling their money away, and if they get their hands on his hard-working money, they will spend it away. These inexcusable parents have no problem whatsoever using their son and spending away his hard-earned money. They're practically spending child slavery cash for their own selfish greed. And all because they never want to work a single job in their life. Well, at least they're not completely heartless. I mean, look, they're kind enough to give him something for Christmas. There's a first time for everything, you know.
An IOU for 156,801,000 yen?
Debt. His very first Christmas present from his own parents is their debt. They borrowed over 150 million yen from the mafia, and they expect him to pay for it. they pretty much accumulated so much debt that they had no problem whatsoever selling their own son to the mafia, for which they planned to do unspeakable things to their child. They used their son, neglected him, and left him for dead just so they can live their lives blissfully as they run away from any sort of responsibility. I know this is played up for comedy, but these two characters make me sick. Their own child sacrificed everything to make sure they survived, and this is how they repay him? For abandoning reality while their own son suffers for their own selfish deeds. Shun and his wife are without a doubt the worst parents in all of anime. Thank you so much for watching. If you wish to help us with future videos, like us on Facebook and Twitter, and send us your suggestions. More awesome videos around the way, so stay tuned to Anime America. Want to support the production? Check out our brand new store on Store Envy. For a small price, you can have a one-of-a-kind poster made by yours truly. If you can only give a small amount to help us out, check out our Patreon page. Any amount you wish to give us goes towards our production needs, so anything you can give us helps us a lot. To keep up with the latest in Anime America stuff, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and even Tumblr. Be sure to like, favorite, and subscribe to Anime America for more awesome reviews and top 10 lists. If you're interested in anything of pop culture, be sure to subscribe to Pop Spectrum. Thank you all for watching, and stay tuned to Anime America.